um, sponsorship. All right, happy Wednesday. It's hump day already. Oh my goodness, man. Nobody watches the first minute, and that's a good thing because we have a power pack panel, and we're going to get straight to it today, guys. Sindal, go ahead and put that slide up for me. Today's really personal to me. I really enjoy this because I mean, the whole Hounds of business was born out of was organic, right? We didn't set out to do this. I daggum sure did not set out to to do what I'm doing in life today. And sometimes that's what happens. Opportunities or even chaos, right? Sometimes opens up doors that we're not ready for. But then we do it anyway. And so this show really is really exciting because some of the challenges I wasn't prepared for, didn't see coming. These folks were around and really pushed me up in really hard times. And then that really gave birth to a collaboration that is really turned into a movement, right? So I'm really excited about it. But before we get going, have to get a shout out to Brand Face. Charge how you're seen, or change how you're seen. Charge what you're worth. I'll get it one day. But I am just beyond appreciative of these two, Michael Carr, Tanya Eberhardt, hearts of gold, down to earth, and they're more country than me. So I mean that doesn't happen too often, right? And just brilliant people, and they have helped so many people with their brand to be clear about their message. And you're looking at him right here. I'm gonna have to put the Hounds Museum on, man. I'm looking for my old stuff. Those who used to see my old brand and banners and stuff, when you compare it to today, you'll realize, oh wow, they're magicians in branding. You ain't kidding. All right. But they're all heart, they're great, amazing people. And if you're out there trying to figure out how to get your voice and your message and who you are, what you should be doing, how to put your best foot forward, start here. And they have a great podcast network. She has a group call that's absolutely amazing. And I would just encourage everyone, scan the QR code, get to know these folks. You won't be sorry. So thank you for all you do for me, the pack, and everyone else. So you don't think we see it, but we do, dadgummit. So without further ado, I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and roll the intro and just start pulling people up and let's get this show on the road.
Are you looking to grow your network and your net worth with other high level, heart centered professionals? Then grab a seat and your favorite beverage and join Mike Asherbranner, the Redneck Connector. It's time for the Hounds of Business Community Happy Hour.
All right. Do we have anybody here yet? I usually check. I can't. So Restream, we use Restream and everything changed, just like when Zoom changed. And it's like Papal using the computer now. I'm like, and Sindal's back there. Sindal Dunn, producing, running backstage. She loves it because even if I want to push buttons, I don't know what to do anymore. So this show runs much smoother now. Thank you, Restream. I tell you what, if anybody's here yet, and we got multiple platforms, if somebody's watching, this is the Hounds of Business. I am the proud and humble leader of the Hounds of Business. This is our flagship show. And at any point, if you look and say, hey, I want to get involved with this, I want to get involved with these kind of people, heart centered, high level professionals, getting things done through profitable reciprocity. It's the best way I can say it. We don't do the sales pitch because we don't need to. We push each other up, we back each other up, and we do a lot of things together. Um, and it's just an amazing. It's redneck Camelot, dadgummit. That's there you go. That's a short version. But at any point, hey, get to know people, ask questions, network with each other. Don't pitch slap with a P, right? Don't spam people. Um, but make sure that this is your time. Have fun with this. Ask questions. We'll do our best. Make good comments with each other. This is your show. There's a lot of excitement, a lot of positivity, and a lot of growth coming out of this pack, and it's just erupting. So, any strays out there? Any folks doing it alone, or maybe you don't feel like you fit in somewhere, or you're trying to find your place? Hey, come test drive us. That's my call to action. So throughout the show, I'll ask hounds to admit their hounds. So take my word for it. Of course, I'm partial. I'm the leader. So go out there and meet some new folks and have some fun. And speaking of folks, let's go ahead and bring on Michelina DeCibio, and we'll start with her.
Well,
There
that's
she
a
is.
mouthful, Mike.
Yeah, it is. I got a big mouth, so it works out good, right? Cheers. How are you today?
I'm doing great. How are you doing? Thanks for having me. Thanks for inviting me to join you tonight.
Are
I
you kidding?
appreciate
I
it.
can't wait to tell people. Oh my goodness. See, you and I, we kind of stranger danger at first.
Mm,
We're just kind of cautious people and want to test people and see how they are. And, a year or so later, it's at least a year later. Now look where we're at. And again, that's the ecosystem, real relationships, friendships, business, things that happen when you're in the right place, right? With the right folks. So go ahead and if you don't mind, go ahead and tell the folks about you, a little bit about your background and how you all got started right, like where you're at.
yeah, sure. No, absolutely. So, most of my career, I was in corporate America. I was an IBMer for a lot of years. I went to work for a client after that. And it was during that second stint in corporate America that I began to get really sick. I was really, I would say, your typical rundown corporate executive, just burning the candle at both ends. And it started to affect my life and then my family, of course. My health took a toll. And that's when I really began to realize that I needed to make some changes. And the changes were going to start with me, right? If you want to see change, you have to take the initiative to make the change. So I got educated about health and wellness. And I will say too that the loss of my dad at a really young age, he had a heart condition that took him at age 37. That was another real moment for me where as I was looking at my own health and what was happening, I thought, I don't want to go through living life being this, sick parent for my kids. So I had to take a look at things, Mike. Reswizzle some
Yeah.
things, reprioritize, get educated, and make some changes. So did all that, became a holistic health coach, and now I've included mental fitness because your mental state has a lot to do with the choices that you make and how good you
Mhm.
feel about them. So now I'm
Yeah.
happy to serve others and teach people what I've learned, hopefully help them avoid the pitfalls and mistakes that I made early on.
Yeah. And you've done that with me. I mean, it's again, unless you have advantage, I'm not knocking anything, guys. I'm just calling. I'm saying, look, I don't, it's hard when you're trying to build from dirt and nothing. It's hard. I don't care who you are and what you know. And man, there's no substitute from people like you who know about, how it physically, how the toll can take on you, how to manage the stress and how to eliminate things in life and, to be healthy when you're in a frantic state, right? It's not
Right,
helpful when somebody says, well, find balance. Really? That's not helpful. But you didn't do that because you know how it is. You know how stressful it is going from corporate or starting a job in a business. These kind of things are really tough. And so I really appreciate you being there. And I'll give you my mini version real quick before we pull the panel and stuff. But it's you cared. That was it. Number one, you cared about me. And it took a while, for us to really, kind of get to this level. But I'm glad it did because I wasn't taking care of myself. I was trying to pay the electric bill. I was trying to feed my kids and family. And so when people say, "Hey, take care of yourself," you're like, "Oh, get out of here." You don't understand me. But you did. And your approach with me was amazing. You were patient, you were kind. You didn't say things you wanted to say early on. I can tell now in hindsight. But you found opportunities, right? And as you built that relationship and back and forth reciprocity, we built trust, we built that relationship, and finally, one day, not too long ago, a couple months maybe, this is my interpretation. You're gonna correct me, but you
right.
basically
Because I
said I
don't know
look
if I
bad.
said it exactly like that, but yes, go ahead. Tell your version.
Yeah, you don't look good. You look bad. And you wasn't kidding. I mean, I was skin and bones. I was just ragged. I don't think I shaved that week. I don't know. I was just going down. And you were like, "Hey, this don't look good." And I admitted it. I was like, "I'm glad you said that because I don't feel good. I don't look good." And then we had a real honest conversation, and that really led to where you guys are seeing today. And other people feel that way. And I think the main reason I wanted to have this show is because there's so many people keeping this to themselves. They think something's wrong with them. Well, I should be able to manage this better. I should be able to have better health and time management. And look, the reality is it's hard. Don't beat yourself up. what you need to do is find people and solutions that can help you move forward and that understand you, not just trying to sell things. And that was you. So, anything to add to that, or we'll bring up the other folks and get a good conversation that can help other people.
I think it's great. I just want to say, Mike, that it all starts with your thinking. That's where it all starts. And that's why I think this mental fitness piece is so important, because oftentimes we self sabotage ourselves with our own thinking. So once you get your
Yeah.
thinking straight, you can make the right decisions for yourself and for everyone else. You've got to take care of yourself first so you can serve everybody better. So I'm excited to hear from the others tonight. Thank you for, again, thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, my pleasure. And let's bring up Dr. New. Let's go ahead and get Dr. New up. Hey, Dr. New, how are you doing?
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Are you pulling a mic? Uh-oh, are you muted or is it broke again? Oh, technical issues.
Oh, man. God,
Man.
dadgummit.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, dadgum.
Oh, dadgum, not
Yes.
Good.
dadgummit.
Happy
Well, you're a northerner.
Wednesday.
We'll let you.
Can you hear me good now?
We can. Yes, ma'am.
Well, thank you, Mike, for
Right.
having us on this amazing panel along with Michelina and with all the Hounds of Business community. I see so many people here, and I see Jackie and Sarah and everyone else that are joining us, live and the replay. But it's just a wonderful. I'm blessed to be here. Happy Wednesday to everyone. And really,
Thank you.
Wednesday is like wellness, and it's really a lovely topic, right? To be a healthy, wealthy, what does it mean to be a healthy, wealthy hounds? That's a mouthful, but it is true. Without our health, we can't have anything, Business run, it's like the engine. You can put so much gas and all the things, but if your car is not able, you're not having the tune up and all the things to function properly, you're not going to be able to run, right? You're going to go so much and it's going to crash the same way your body. So
Yeah.
it's so, I'm so
Yeah.
honored to be here with you. Thank you, Mike.
You're welcome. And that's the thing. You were there, Mick's over here telling me to take better physical care of myself and mental. And I don't know how you knew I was having a hard day. I never told you I was having hard times. And you just figured it out. You would just send me messages or meditations or whatever it is you could figure out. Makes it special. So tell the folks your background. You're a pharmacist, right? Tell folks a little bit about you to know you if they don't already.
Yeah, well, thank you, Mike. And it's really the reason why I'm so passionate and what I am about to share is that through my own journey, not only my personal, but also through professionally, seeing as the patients on the other side and being on the healthcare provider in the hospital and rounding with the physicians and in the hospice, in the ICU and different modality, and then people who are having the aftercare, their caregiving. And
Mhm.
so I see it both sides, as the patient, as the provider. I see the wellness realm missing, that missing piece of to truly care for oneself, right? And I think because the healthcare society right now is more of the quick fix, right? Can you just give me that injection, the filler, to make me look young, make me look skinny, or plump me up, whatever it is? It's a
Right.
little false, too false of advertisement. I think social media can blow it up, but I think truly, what I see is that the hap, the gap of preventative care. We're carrying it at the end of it's either too late or you catching it when you're already really too ill. So we got to go back and being really proactive. And I think with
Yes.
our own journey and our own, like Michelina share, with that, you have to take care of yourself. Without your health, you can't take care of your patient, you can't take care of your family. And that is why
That's
I
right.
want to share the holistic approach.
And I love the fact that you're in traditional medicine and you have nothing wrong with that, but you also see the importance of well-being, holistic prevention, nutrition, all that stuff. I mean, again, everybody says sick care system. They're right.
Yes.
So the best thing to do is not even go into the system. I mean, do your best not to. I mean, you only got one body, one life. Try to take care of it. And this is coming from me, right? Nick's like, wow, that's not what you were doing 6 months ago. Well, but we change. And that's why I'm excited because I mean, if I can change, who the heck can't change? I mean, there you go. So but I wanted to be more and do more. And you can't do that if you don't take care of yourself. So speaking of that, let's bring up John Kessler. He is an amazing, fairly new hound, but boy, doesn't feel like it.
Hey, Mike. Hey, everybody.
John, good to see you. I know you're having some internet issues, so we'll try to get through with it. Not your fault. So do me a favor. Tell folks a little bit about your background because it is touching, man, and how what you're doing today. There's a reason for it. Go ahead and share if you don't mind.
Yeah, so just briefly, in 2017, I went for my routine colonoscopy at 50. I had a cancerous tumor, had surgery to have it removed a few months later, and that followed up with 3 months of chemo. During that time, I had to deal with a lot of the issues on my own. A lot of it, the emotional, the physical aspects of the physical side effects from chemo, and just kind of really, I kept everything inside. I've been cancer free since. But in 2021, during the pandemic, I kind of decided, well, maybe it's time to make a change in my life. I had been in corporate world for about 30 years. And someone suggested I become a life coach, and I thought about it. And I woke up one morning and someone said, a voice said to me, if you're going to do this, you're going to work with cancer patients. And that kind of was the impetus to me starting my coaching practice. As I kind of developed my practice, I made a concerted effort to develop a program that treats patients holistically, because as cancer patients, we just don't only deal with the side effects of treatment, chemo or radiation. There's a lot of the emotional and spiritual things that, Dr. New and Michelina were talking about as well. There's, the fear, there's the depression, there's, the blaming, why me, God kind of mentality. But, to what, what Michelina and Dr. New were talking about, it all starts from that mindset. So as a coach, I work with my clients to create a mindset where they are willing to fight, right? They are willing to kind of thrive during their cancer journey, where they can be as normal as possible. And the other thing that I, work with them is like, cancer doesn't define us. I will always be a member of the cancer family, but I am living proof that there can be a fulfilling and wonderful life after cancer. So that's kind of my story in a nutshell.
Absolutely, John, and do me a favor. Make sure you check the chat. If we might have you drop your camera, but I don't want you to leave because we want to
Okay.
hear what you got to say. You got a lot here. Almost everybody has somebody affected by cancer, or they're going through it, right? So we definitely don't want you to go, but we might have to drop the camera to save bandwidth so we can hear everything
Okay.
you're saying. So, but thank you for being here, and thank you for what you do. Because I mean, sometimes it's got to be hard, right, John? Like to relive those things and to kind of go over them to help others. Like it's sometimes it can't be easy, right?
It isn't, but I think, the whole point of a cancer coach is really someone who's been through that journey before, right? So you can make that connection with a client because you've walked in their shoes. Many times cancer patients are very reluctant to talk to someone. They don't understand. But there's a big difference between empathy and sympathy. And as a cancer patient, you want to hear someone's story. You want to be inspired by someone. You want to get the strength by someone, by the strength from someone else. And when you hear someone's story, that can be that little spark that shifts the mindset to say, you know what, if he or she did it, then maybe I can do it. And that's what starts the ball rolling to getting people to kind of say, okay, I want to fight this. I want to beat this. I want to do whatever I can to be proactive as opposed to reactive.
Yeah, you're a lot of things. A guide, a cheerleader, someone who can relate to it. And boy, these two have been cheerleaders for me. So I couldn't imagine battling something as scary and as just awful as cancer. Holy cow. So again, whether you're okay, but you're struggling, or you're going through cancer. That's not everybody was here. The Healthy Wealthy Hounds is a movement to pull a lot of different people from a lot of different wheelhouses with different offerings, different arenas and areas of focus, so we can become better people, become better business people, and make a better impact. So it's not about the what. These are the forerunners and the pioneers of this movement. But let me tell you, we are looking for more folks. And you don't have to be in healthcare specifically or wellness to be a part of this. All right. But if you are, hey, we'd like to talk to you. So any of these panelists here, if you're on LinkedIn, hey, let them know where they can find you. We'll put the contact information up and we'll plug you in because here's our mentality. We want a buffet of options. If you're a good person and you have something to offer that's good for others, hey, we're just going to put it out there. People can come at that buffet and find who and what can serve them the best. And we just want to make sure you guys see those options. So everybody can come, everybody can be a part of, as long as you're a good person, you got something good to offer because it is hard. I killed myself in silence because I didn't know what to do and I didn't want to feel weak, right? And other people and talk about it. And then I found out I'm not alone. There's not only just experts and people who are seasoned, but folks that are willing to help me like Michelina and Dr. New and now John, right? So let me ask the first question. Let me get this party started. We're going to cover different areas. Let's start with emotional intelligence, right? The emotional aspect of it. Michelina, how can entrepreneurs, business folks, but primarily folks starting or building a business, right? How can they effectively manage stress in a fast paced digital world that we live in?
Oh, Mike, that is such a great question. And I can tell you from experience and getting to know so many of the members of the Hounds, we're the high achieving, pleasing types, right? So we burn the candle at both ends, and we're constantly giving, giving, giving. And what happens? Oftentimes, we're helping others, but it's at our own expense. So there are so many
Yeah.
tips I could offer, but I would say my number one most favorite is that you must schedule time for self care, for mindfulness, for little meditations throughout your day. And so I'm just taking a piece out of the program that I run called Positive Intelligence. This is all science backed, et cetera. But if you can take just 2 minutes, 3 or 4 times a day to break up your day, to do little 2 minute mindfulness meditations, Mike, it'll help to reset and reprogram your brain. So you're coming out of this crazy survival state and into more of a calm, centered, focused, thriving state. So please, just like you schedule your doctor's appointments, your meetings with your important clients and teammates, etc., please schedule the time to meet with you. Have that quiet time with yourself.
Yeah. It's especially type A, me, like I'm running around and trying to get things done. And, the last thing I want is Michelina coming and say, oh, did you meditate for 2 minutes? Of course I didn't meditate for 2 minutes. But I'm glad you do it because I do stop. I do stop, say, look, it's 2 minutes. Yeah, I used to think I didn't have time to do it. Now I'm realizing I didn't have the time not to. Like it's ridiculous. It's two
Right.
minutes that can benefit you. And to be honest, I would spend 15 minutes staring at the screen doing nothing. In the comments, guys, can you relate to that? Where you feel like, hey, I can't take self-care. I can't take 5 minutes. I can't take that little brisk walk or whatever because I have to work. But then if you really get honest with yourself, you ain't doing much anyway. You're highly ineffective because you're all frazzled and wore out and didn't eat a sandwich. And hey, share it here if you're willing to, because this is real talk. This ain't, this
Yeah.
is a safe place. We can talk about it. And I'm glad I opened up about it because it was killing me, literally killing me. And it was killing my emotional, physical wellness. And it's like this, and I want you to chime in. I wanted to hear what Dr. New has to say about it. It's like planting a seed and putting water on it in the sunlight, but then you scream at it. And you think screaming at it had something to do with it. That's me. It's like, oh, hey, I'm just grinding and worrying and not eat. That's what's making me successful. No, that's actually holding you back, Goofy. And it's through that education and that process you guys helped me with that I understood it. So, Dr. New, what is your take on that? Like, managing stress. Like, what are some tips or what can we do to really, if we're so fast paced and we're so enamored with so many family, business demands, what are some things that we can do to kind of take that step back?
Well, I want to say when I was hearing Michelina and Mike, I was like, yes, that is why the science, the woo woo, and everything that people talk about is proven because when we really one of the factor that cause a lot of cancer and a lot of things trigger and I've led to my own meaning health downhill having sepsis and really almost dying and come back and so knowing that a cortisol level that contribute to all the stress in our body, you can effectively switch it off by practicing that mindfulness that Michelin mentioned, or the meditations. And it's not just closing your eye or people thinking, oh, you have to go to temple or church or wherever. It's literally just coming back to all the noise that you see so much out there, but coming back to how we're really regulating, not only from the mind, our heart rate will regulate your physiological changes in your body. Your blood pressure is going to go down, you're going to sleep better. The physical change, not only for your well-being and the physical, relaxations of improving your muscle, when you tense and when you have a meditation, just imagine all that. There's not any other modalities. And I can still say this every day, that your digestion system, your physical body, your sleep, all the things that we, and our skin, right? We're going to manifest all the things that it's going to show up. So, and able to focus, no better way. And that is where we have to come back and knowing what are we here for, where your family, your number one, you want to show up better, and that 1% better every day is how we can go into that mindfulness. And it's so, if we do NIH, like the National Institute of Health, you're going to see so many studies and data. Just don't take our words for it. Do the research and you see why. And that is what I want people to hear.
Right.
I
And
love
Dr.
that.
New,
1% better. Go ahead, Mick.
that's it. I mean, actually, you know what? Just think about this, everyone. If you focus on just getting 1% better every single day of the year, that's a big impact come the end of the year. All we need to do is shift 1% every single day in the direction of taking better care of yourself. It could be as simple as building these mini meditations in. And I love what Sarah just said about the deep breathing. It is so important to do that, to really get that oxygen to every cell of your body. Paying attention to time blocking. This is something I'm very big on too, is that schedule it. Don't just say you're going to do it. Put it in your calendar and schedule it. And I also love that Dr. New on Fridays has her Mindful Mingle meetings. Fridays at 1 p.m. Eastern, correct?
12 Central, so 1 o'clock Eastern, yes. I have to shift the conversion, yes.
Right. Okay. And Mike, did you want to pop back in? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. I think you had something you wanted to say.
No, you're doing good. I'm kind of dubbed thee and knighted you the co-host in a little bit because this is your wheelhouse. I just wanted to give you all the spotlight, but let me ask you this, and we'll John, I'll start with you because we're still on the emotional aspect. Yeah, what are some practical strategies that folks can use when building resilience? They're facing challenges. What are some strategies they can do to kind of build that resilience and not go unhinged? Right.
Well, I think it's kind of, I guess my first suggestion would be what's worked for you in the past, right? Like when you faced an obstacle or a hurdle in your life before, what have you done to overcome that? Tap into that success that you've had previously, right? We've all faced ups and downs in our lives, but we've overcome them. And having a disease could be part of that, but it doesn't mean that it's exclusive to the success that you haven't had in the past. So tapping into your past successes is a wonderful way to kind of move past obstacles and kind of help you get to that you want to emotionally. Another thing would be just some of the things that Michelina and Dr. New said. It's about self-care, right? If you can be taking care of yourself mentally and emotionally, right? It could be exercising. Some people, it's the endorphins that we get when we exercise that kind of create that positive mood for us. And if you're struggling with an illness or some sort of physical ailment, do what you can do. You'll still get those endorphins going. You'll get the blood flowing throughout your body. You'll feel better about yourself. It's just about doing, I think, whatever you can emotionally, physically, and mentally to take care of yourself and to continue to move forward. And what I tell my clients, and people that I speak with is, even if you take a small step forward, that's still progress. It's still a victory for you. And you should embrace that. You should celebrate, and you should build on that.
Hey,
Yeah.
real quick, the celebrating the wins, that is a huge problem that I had. And everyone told me to do that. And I never did it. I was like, hey, I could make a gazillion dollars and I'll be worried about the next gazillion and not going, hey, you just accomplished something. So the mindset, like Mick's always saying, and Dr. New, dead on. Go ahead, Mick. I know this is your wheelhouse.
Yeah, well, and just quick a minute, Mike. One of my favorite questions that I like to think about whenever I'm facing a business challenge or a challenge of any kind, I know your question is specific to business, but I think this applies to anything, is asking yourself, like not looking at it as a negative, even though it feels negative and it creates negative emotion, but asking yourself, all right, Mick, this is what I say to myself, because like Mick, everybody calls me like, all right, Mick, what is the gift or opportunity in this situation? It looks really crappy right now, but what is the gift or opportunity that can come out of this situation? I promise you, if we look at the situation through that lens, there will be a lesson, there will be some sort of opportunity for you to become maybe stronger or wiser or more resilient from the challenge. It's never for nothing. It's never for nothing. There's always purpose behind the pain.
Yeah, and can I add something, Mike? I think one of the
Yes,
thing
ma'am.
is, having that mindset, and this come back when to add on Michelina, is that having the growth mindset of not changes is not only is it need for any growth. If you notice when we go work out or anything, when we implement, there's going to be friction. There's going to be things that are outside of your comfort. But if you stay in the comfort, that is no growth. True growth, you have to go beyond that comfort zone. And having that growth mindset is what's needed. And having periodically, of course, celebrate the wins and all, but also have the reflection. If we don't, we're too busy and we're not reflecting to really optimize not only who we are and what we need to change and be flexible, be willing to adapt and looking at changes or any obstacle as opportunities. How can
Yeah.
I innovate? How can I make it better for myself or for the companies or whatever? That is where true growth and really fire happen, meaning lots of innovations. If we look at it, it's not just out of thin air, right?
Yeah. I think another thing, Dr. New, if I may, to build on what you said, another strategy that I love to use, and this is something that's in the sort of the system that I follow when I'm helping people with building stronger mental fitness, is what we call the navigation power. So this is, for example, when I'm in the midst of a challenge, and oftentimes challenges are emotionally charged, right? We feel really strongly about something. Think about where we are in history right now, right? People have very strong emotions for things one way or another, what have you. I think about my future self. When I'm on my last day, hopefully in a rocking chair, overlooking, watching the sunset or something, and I'm just very close to taking my last breath, and I'm thinking back on my life, and I'm thinking, well, how would I, what would make me happy about how I've lived in this moment in time? When I'm reflecting back, how do I want to feel about the way I navigated through this challenge, right? And thinking about that person looking back on today, what will make me feel good about the way I've behaved or interacted or something, right? And that often helps me. It drives the way I act, right? Because I'm thinking about that. It's kind of like a legacy question. When you think back, what kind of legacy do you want to leave? How do you want to be remembered? How do you want to be remembered? And that can help you in terms of how you deal with your challenge as well.
Wow. And I want to add one thing because I'm gonna push this to Mick because she's doing such a stellar job. But look, change is hard. Even positive change feels like absolute hell a lot of the times. Like I do it in everything, business, life. And, get excited. You're like, I'm gonna go work out. Then you're sore for 4 days, right? And you're like, oh, I don't want to do this, right? Or you make a decision to set boundaries or something, and then you're like, oh my god, like this sucks. It's stressful. It's like that in life, and so understand that going into it. Hey, this is temporarily going to suck, But if you keep going, it doesn't last as long as you think, and the benefits will outweigh it. Does anybody have any
Yeah.
experience with that you want to share? Because I could go on and on and on, but nobody came here to hear me. They want to hear it from you all. But is there
Well,
any
yeah,
instances that, yeah,
I was gonna, and I'd love to see people's comments. Another question that comes to
yeah,
mind is for John and for Dr. New as entrepreneurs, and for anyone out there, how do you, where do you go for support, right? Because being an entrepreneur can be very lonely. And so I'm curious about your answer, because I can tell you when I first broke away from corporate America and then going off on my own and being more of this holistic practitioner, what really helped me was that I found a community, a company that I could affiliate with, so that I was working not by myself. I was working for myself, but not by myself. So I love the idea that I could drive and just create my schedule and have this extra income, but that I wasn't working necessarily for someone, but alongside all these wonderful people. So I'm curious to know your perspective on that, and whether you had, a similar experience when you first started as an entrepreneur.
Great minds think alike, Michelina. I swear. I think before you spoke about the community, I was going to mention that community, having a support community is so important. Whether you have it online, offline, your family, your friends, LinkedIn, on and off. But having mentorship and having supportive communities, not only to provide you with guidance, advice, or hindsight, right? Encouragement, that you don't see things that maybe you're not willing either. It's just a normal thing, right? We all notice and we all think it's fine. But communities like the Hounds of Business with Mike here is an amazing one, along with like the Level Up Academy. But we all come together to support and uplift one another. And that is where we rise by lifting others. So it's huge. I think you can't do it by yourself. No one can do it. That's for me. It's so crucial.
That's great. Well, and
oh, well said,
truly appreciate, Mike, if I can say, I truly appreciate
yeah,
the opportunity that you've given me to have all of you on my affiliate team, right, as wellness advocates. Like, it's been such a wonderful
yeah,
blessing to have you all in our community promoting holistic wellness, giving people options. Because here's the other thing, we're all so busy running around all day serving other people. Are we eating as well as we should be? Are we sleeping as well as we should be?
no,
No. But when you surround yourself with people that are encouraging you to make all these good decisions, you're going to become a better version of yourself. So
Yeah,
John, did you want to
yeah. I just want
yeah.
to add, when I first kind of went, I was, a little hesitant because I felt like the cancer coach community was such a small niche, right? I thought I was one of a handful of people. Um, but what I found in terms of working with mentors and joining groups like the Hounds and LinkedIn is that the community of cancer coaches and cancer advocates is huge. And there's so much that I learn and get inspired by when I talk to these people, when I learn that I am not alone. And that's kind of the fuel that keeps me going, doing the business that I'm doing. It keeps pushing me to be the best coach that I can be and work with as many clients as possible. And the other thing I just kind of want to say is that, we don't know what we don't know, right? So when we make these connections with people who not necessarily are in our niche, that's when the fire kind of starts, burning stronger and stronger, because we are taking things from different people, and that just makes us better entrepreneurs, right? Whether it's working in, finding another way to grow your business by connecting with someone, by, finding an opportunity to speak and share your story, right? By being a member of the Hounds. That's how we, keep our fire going. And that's how we continue to grow as entrepreneurs. So I thank everybody for allowing me the opportunity to kind of share my experience. And I look forward to hopefully connecting with many more of the Hounds out there who I haven't connected with yet, and see if there's ways that we can, work together, learn from each other, and help each other grow our businesses.
Oh, there's going to be more opportunity because Rochelle Proser, right? She is with Orchid Healthcare Solutions, and she has the Proser Cancer Library. Hey, we're working together. She's with the Hounds. We're going to go rocking and rolling, and she's got so many things coming up that are just amazing, making groundbreaking change and things happen with research. Who doesn't want to kick cancer's butt? So, like, she'd be like, "Will you help it?" Hell yes, I'd help you. Are you serious? Like, everybody get behind that. Anything that's that powerful, and she's doing amazing things. And that's what this is about. It's about making an impact, man, making a big difference, and earning money because we can't earn money if
Yeah.
we're in poor health and but that's the key. And there are people out there who are struggling. They don't have the health, they're dealing with things like that, like stage 4 cancer. But I want to be in a position where I can help those people one day. I want to have enough time, money, and freedom so I can do what I want, when I want, for as long as I want, with whomever I want, because money's not an issue. And the
Right.
more people that we help, the more money we make. And if we don't help a lot of people, we're not going to make a lot of money. And that's where I think people get confused. Right? Money's not the problem. And again, not to get on a soapbox, but I want everybody here to understand what we believe. If hundreds, much less millions of heart-centered, caring people, if we had all the money we needed where we can just do whatever we wanted, we can make a serious dent in stuff that matters. We can do it. Like Chasen's here. We can make, social justice. We can make a big dent in that stuff. Food insecurity, right? Equality. And that's what this is about. This is not just some little, thing we do to look cool. This is something that we truly believe in and do daily. And that makes
Yeah.
all the
Amen.
difference. And
Amen. Well, I
yeah,
love that, Mike. And I think that if you think about where we are today, and maybe not even just today, but always for families, what are the two areas of life that people are most concerned about? We're concerned about our health and we're concerned about our financial stability, right? Those are two, I would say, common areas of life where virtually every family is thinking about how can I help my family to be healthier and stay out of the sick care system, and what can I do to become more financially secure. And so guess what, there are ways you can do that. There are business models out there that will allow you to do that, to accomplish that. So I think as entrepreneurs we have to ask ourselves, are you open? Are you open to new ways of thinking? Are you open to new ways of doing business? Are you open to new streams of income for your practice? If you're open to all of those things, then we should have another conversation, because we can help you perhaps consider another way to accomplish your goals, right? But you've got to have that frame of mind. You've got to realize that, so I'm curious, how many entrepreneurs are really looking at ways to expand their income, or are they just so narrowly focused on one thing that they're just missing out on opportunities around them? John,
that's a
did you
good
Man,
want to say?
question.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Dr. New. What's your thought?
I was going to add that, our health is really when we say our wealth. And even though some people think, this is the reverse. People always say, I need to make X amount, right? Until I do this, I go on vacation. You make so much of too much in the future, but you forgetting that the best investment is into your health. And without your health, even if you build a $1 million business, what would happen tomorrow? You cannot be on a wheelchair or in the bed, in the bed in the hospital. And where would you exchange that for your health? You cannot. And that's something that I know that everyone struggle. But if you have to think your health now, then you're going to pay the cost of investment yourself versus a cost to pay for the ill that you're going to get sick down the line, and that you cannot reverse. That is something you have to think of. I've been there in the healthcare, as in the hospital professional, and I see it. And so many of our heart center and compassion leaders are forgetting about themselves. And that is what I want to drive home, that don't forget yourself, because that
Hey,
is your best investment.
we're going to hammer this right after we get rid of Michelina. So, we just have to. I was going to be mean and just say, hey, I'm glad she's gone and kick her off, but that's nobody would believe it. Anyway, any last words, Mick? Because we think the world of you. We appreciate you. your style, the way you care about people. And if you want to learn more about Mick, she has a lot of different things. She has a lot of different products and things that can help. If you want to know that, go check it out. But she also has a ton of things like the meditations, and she does group calls. Uh, just a 100% transparent, honest lady. So anything you like to say to anybody else, because you got my full 1000% support.
Well, thank you, Mike. I just want to end on gratitude. I just want to encourage you all, no matter what's going on in your day, there's a lot of negativity surrounding us right now. All you have to do is turn your phone on or the TV or whatever, and you're going to get bombarded. Just spend a few minutes in gratitude. Just be grateful for every things we take for granted. The air you breathe, the fact that you woke up this morning and your feet hit the ground. Just spend as much time in gratitude. And Mike, thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. New. Thank you, John. Thank you, Sindel. It was an honor to meet you tonight. And I apologize, I have to sign off for the next gig, but I'll see you next time. Have a great night.
That's okay.
We,
Be good.
we
Okay.
love you,
God bless y'all.
Michelina. One other
Love
thing
you
I
too.
don't know if people don't know about Michelina is that she's all about faith, and because she's a big faith believer, and I am also, and that is where we're all connected. And so I love you. I appreciate
God bless
you.
you all.
Love
Thank
you.
you.
Nick,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Yeah, I
So,
think
Mike,
real
if
quick.
I can just add
Oh,
to
go ahead,
what
John.
everybody was talking about. Yeah. No, I mean, I think that, we should always be, we were talking about expanding business and trying to find, is it health and wealth and what is really kind of the best way to kind of approach this. And I think it's, what can we offer to the client, right? What can we offer to the people that we want to service, right? It's health and wellness. It's whatever we can add to make our business more, more of, not, I don't want to say attractive to our clients, and we give them more benefits in terms of working for us. That's where the success comes, and maybe I'm talking from a different perspective, only because my coaching business is really a mission for me. It's really a calling, right? It's an advocacy that I've taken on, this mantle of trying to help as many people as I can, because when I went through my journey, I didn't have that. So I am always looking for different ways to and different things to offer to my clients to say, oh, wow, I'm getting more for working with John, and I can have this benefit and I can have that benefit, right? Because again, the more that we can offer to our clients, that's really, I think, where the success comes from. And yeah, the money will come, but that's really what it is. For me, it's about impacting and changing someone's life. And, that's it.
No, I absolutely agree. It's great empathy. How do you go through hell and not want to help other people? Again, I'm not judging. I'm just saying, like, it's amazing too. Like, people come to you, don't they, John? Like,
Yeah.
they'll find you. You don't have to go out there and put a bat symbol in the sky. It's funny how people just seem to know, like, hey, this person could help me, or they've been through this. I see it all the time. People come to me with stuff, and I'm not even going to mention. And I'm like, wow. And there's some kind of peace to that, because if I didn't go through that, then I wouldn't A, care, and B, be able to assist someone else through it easier, and or give them some guidance and some support. That can make all the difference. And I'm here to tell you, and I would love the audience to chime in. Have you ever done something and you thought it wasn't a big deal, only to find out later on that it caused like this chain reaction, this compound effect of just amazing? That doesn't that blow you away? Like, I was sitting down with somebody who was talking about, substance issues, and I shared some story in my mind, because I mean, I don't talk about it all the time, but I'm a recovering alcoholic, but 8 years, I'm proud of that. And I mentioned it. And then what did I know? I thought nothing was going to happen. Oh my gosh, the whole world changed. Like, everybody started actually making changes, and families were, oh my goodness, so much positivity just because I took the time to say, hey, and I have no idea why people reach out to me about that stuff, because I don't even talk about it. But I'm so glad that it wasn't for nothing. Does anybody relate to that in the audience, or any of the panelists? Is that really a driving force about why you do what you do, even though it's hard and you want to give up, and sometimes people give you crap over it? It doesn't matter, does it?
No,
Share
I
that
mean,
with what.
it doesn't, but I think it's again, right? It's that empathy versus sympathy argument, right? Like, if
Mhm,
we can, the more we share, there's strength in numbers, right? I truly believe in that, right?
absolutely.
So the more that we can share our story, the more, the more people that we can impact, right? And I always say this, right? You never know when you're going to tell your story and someone's going to hear it and they're going to go, "Oh wow, that's my story," right? And that's kind of why I do what I do. And I thank you so much for sharing your story. And I'm sure Dr. New, you get this as well. Thank you for sharing your story. Having
Yeah.
cancer was part of life. It is part of my story, but it's not the only chapter of my story, right? And there's so much more to who we are as people that our illness shouldn't define who we are. And that's really again, the message, right? Having a disease doesn't define who you are. What defines who you are is how you overcome it or live with it, and how do you thrive to the best of your ability. So that's kind of why I do what I do, and that's why I share my story is to give that people that frame of mind, that mindset that they can have a life, they can be who they want to be, they can follow their dreams, right? It doesn't mean that you stop living once you have a disease. You can live and you can thrive. You just have to be in the mindset that we started off this whole conversation with, is being in that proper mindset. And once you do, that's when you thrive.
Yeah.
That's huge. And I want Dr. New real quick, but that is huge. It's despair. People are in despair. It's why I say things. I don't say things to hear myself talk, even though it looks like it sometimes. I say things because I know there's some kind of redneck or tough guy or whatever. And if I say it, it might sink in. If Dr. New says it, that's just Dr. New. She loves everybody. But if I say it, they're like, that's a good point. Like I used to say, what's the most manly thing you could do? Go home angry, kick a stray cat on the way home and treat your family bad, or go to therapy or seek coaching and try to better yourself. I don't say that to be silly or cute. I say that because somebody out there is like me, all hard headed. And maybe I saying it make them go, he's got a good point. It's hard to argue with. Right. And that's the attitude. That's the heart behind it. Dr. New, I know you got to chime in here. Go ahead. What is your take?
Well, one of the things that I want to add and bring it home is that we're not just a lot of things is missing that I see, and this is even in the heart of healthcare professional, in the heart of having to take care of someone, or as a caregiver, or as a doctor, a pharmacist, or anyone. We gotta, and this is even business and ourselves. If we don't take care and be kind with empathy, with kindness, but also taking action. It's not just wording, right? We're not just saying it, but you live in it and you experience it. And now you want to make, not only stand up for the change, be the change that we want to see the world. Imagine if all the heart center and the souls, really care about all the people and are tapping out, burnout, or even don't have the health. What would happen? They're all not going to be around. What would happen to our kids? Imagine you don't have Mike, or you don't have Michelina or John, right? Imagine you don't have another Russ or Sarah or Jason in the world when we leave. What would happen? So the best way is that we have to take care of ourselves, so that way we can be stronger for our kids, for our family. Even if you don't have kids, you know that there's so many depending on us. So that is where we are the compassionate leaders. And I know that this is where Mike is. Even though he don't say it, he talk about other people, but he is truly a gift because he brings community. Without community, you cannot have anything. And because whatever we're all doing is coming from our hearts, our experience, we want to build and lift up communities. And that is Mike right there.
Thank you for that. Again, I love what John said and what you just said. It kind of strengthened numbers. I had the courage or, whatever it was just to go out there and hopefully people would resonate because I didn't want to be alone. Nobody wants to be alone. Nobody wants to do things alone and feel like the odd duck. And I want everybody to be encouraged. If you feel that way, if you feel like you're flopping around, you're alone, you're weird, it's only you struggling, knock that off. Knock it off. There's a QR code. That's why she put it up there because this that's not why we're here. We're here to support, push up, and become the best selves. And I love that because Yeah, it's hard. People expect things from me, and I'm just some guy figuring things out, right? I don't have all the answers. I have very few, but I'm around supportive people who give me that grace, and whether it's physical, issue, mental, they're here for me, and I think that makes the difference. So let me pivot a little bit. I want to one more subject, so we can get about 10 minutes on this. I'm gonna open up the worms on this. Maybe I don't know. Balance. If somebody else tells me to strike a balance, I might choke slam. All right. Let me tell you something. I don't. Maybe and audience, if you're left, hey, balance to me don't make sense. And I heard something somewhere about someone said harmony. Now that makes a lot more sense because it's like a teeter totter. It's not. It's never flat. It's always like this. As soon as I start doing something, something else in my life goes a little bit to the wayside. And my best estimation is intention. Scheduling, intention, making sure there's time throughout the weeks or days, family time, but then this time's dedicated to work and, admin and, but screw balance. I'm sorry. Anybody disagree with me? Because that's okay. I'm just, there's no balance there. Now there's back and forth. There's better balance. There's harmony, but dadgummit, who wants to take that one? Who wants to get in trouble with me?
Oh, well, I can join you because there's no, when people say we need work life balance, there's no such thing as balance. And that balance to me, it's really that harmony is more of, but really, how do we, we take out time out for our family, relaxing, recharging, right? And having spend time with your kids or with walking the dogs, whatever it is that bring you joy. You have to infuse that joy, even being goofy, you know? And that is what life is about. You work hard, you can play with the kids, riding the bike.
Right.
That's still that harmony. It's not about going so extravagant on the social media, say you have to do this and that. It does not have to be anything. It's just what
Yeah.
makes it you feel joy, your heart is like, I'm content. I think that is what life is about. It's not about, oh, you got to have that balance scale weighing it does not exist. That is my opinion. People always putting
Thank you.
boundaries, and I think you have to walk everywhere. That's what people say. You at work and you at home should be the same person, but how do you maintain that stability, meaning you don't blow up on someone, you don't tap out, you don't burn out, and you're like, I'm gonna snap on somebody if somebody mentions something,
Mm.
right? That trigger. So that is where the harmony. We got to know what we need to work on.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Well said, Dr. New. Gum. I was like, yeah, I'm surrounded by brilliance, or I wouldn't have mentioned this. John, would love, because again, you deal with people in despair, they just found out, or they've been dealing with cancer for a long time, right? So I complain about a paper cut, and then I talk to somebody dealing with cancer, and I'm like, okay, I'm not going, so I would love your input. What's your perspective on balance, John?
Well, I think it's kind of what Dr. New was just saying about, finding joy, right? I think it's how do you kind of normalize who you are when you have a disease, right? It's about trying to feel as close to normal as possible, right? How do you feel like yourself? So, one of the things Dr. New just mentioned was finding joy in life, right? So you're dealing with cancer. Well, what are the things that you enjoy doing that bring you happiness, right? Is it about spending time with family? Is it about playing a game? Is it about like, you know, you know, talking to your kids or watching a movie, sitting on the couch and watching a movie? It could be as simple and mundane as that. But when you find the joy, right? When you find what makes you feel quote unquote normal as you're going through a disease, that's when you can kind of find the balance and feel like more like yourself, right? Because, you know, we have to, when you're given news that you have a disease like cancer, right? Your life is basically taken away from you. The control of your life is taken away from you. So
Yeah.
how do you find that balance, right? How do you find that control back? How do you take control back of your life? And that's finding and doing the things that you did prior to having cancer or some other illness that makes you feel happy, that makes you feel normal, that makes the things that you did that were part of your daily routine, that you took, the ways that you practice self-care before cancer, You just adapt them as you're going through a cancer or an illness. So you can kind of maintain that balance or that harmony as close to possible, because it's not going to be the same. You're not going to be physically as strong as you once were. You're not going to be mentally as strong as you were prior to having a disease. It's just natural. But you have to work to find the ways to get back to that as possible. And that's by doing things that make you happy, following dreams. Are there goals are there things that you wanted to do during, did you want to go on a vacation? Did you want to, travel? Did you want to see a show? Did you want to see a concert? Do those things, because those are the things that are going to bring you that joy. Those are the things that are going to bring you that happiness. And those are the things that are going to bring you that normalcy.
Very well said. And yeah, I didn't get to see the comments, but you know, it, to me, it's you decide. I think that's somehow we forget that we have the power of choice. Just because Dr. New makes a priority of something this week doesn't mean I have to, or someone told us that we should be a computer programmer or something, or a brother was, or like, hey, you're grown and it's liberty. It's scary, but to me, it's like saying, hey, I'm going to do this because I choose to do it. I could be wrong, it could not be effective, but I'm going to try it. Because if we don't, we just kind of stay stuck in this rut, whether it's mental, physical, it doesn't matter, right? And I think that was it. Hey, I'm going to go do this because I decided to do this, right? It's just like my wife. Like she decides to stay home and to do, to pursue the nursing, and that's because she wants to, right? If she wants to work, I support it. She wants to stay home, I support it. But what's important to me is that she decides because it makes her happy. Boy, that sounds corny, but boy, ain't it true? Like, ain't that people don't make choices. They just kind of go and blow around like tumbleweeds. That's the problem. I want to be an oak tree. I want to have deep roots, right?
Yeah, I mean, I
And
will just share a quick personal story. So I am in my second marriage, right? And my wife does a lot, she likes to do a lot of things on her own, right? Things that make her happy, things that make her feel kind of like she's got her balance, right? So instead of me trying to say, okay, well, let me do it, or let's do it together, right? I take that step back and I say, I just let her do her thing, right? And I even put it in my vows to her was, I promise to let you be you, right? And I think that's kind of what we have to do with with our clients and the people that we work with is how do we help them find ways for them to be them without kind of stepping on their toes, right? Coaching is all about empowering others to take control of their lives, right? And let them do what they want to do. Let them kind of be the captain of their ships, right? Because I can't steer your ship for you, right? I can't steer Mike's ship. I can't steer Dr. New's ship. I can't steer Michelina's ship. I can only can steer John's ship, right? But I have to take the action in order to do that, right? And sometimes, yes, we need help doing that. But to your point earlier, Mike, it's okay to ask for help, right? Asking for help is not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength. And I think people forget that as well. People see that as, well, my pride gets in the way. But I think there's a certain degree of, authenticity and vulnerability that makes people attractive when they do ask for help. Right?
oh yeah, and let me chime in real quick. It Amateurs do things alone. I figured out amateurs do things alone. Professionals, athletes, business people, they have coaches, multiple coaches. They're always training. Look at the Olympics coming up. Tons of coaches. Nobody just joined the Olympics because they did it alone. Come on now, read a book or something. So I think that's the key. I absolutely agree with what you're saying. Go seek help and seek the right help. Be discerning. Don't just tell everybody all your dirty laundry. You just met them, but be discerning. Test people out, build relationships, nurture those, and lean into those that are fruitful and win-win, back and forth, reciprocal. And that's the redneck Camelot we were trying to build here, and we have built it. And it is a formula, it works. And that's why we're here. So anybody out there that, is trying to figure it out, you don't know what you're doing, maybe you kind of know, maybe you're trying to find that spark again. That's what this is about. Scan the QR code, attend one of our group calls, be connected with people, be empowered, and tap into resources that can help you with your visibility and build your business. All right, with like-minded people, and that's what this is. So we're going to get to our last question. Before we do, Dr. New, real quick, what do you have coming up? You got different audios, and where can people find you to learn more?
Yeah, so I'm normally I have a mindfulness room that's mindful mingle, and that's all thing that
Mhm.
about mindfulness. And just to kind of shout out to you earlier when you mentioned about your wife, Mike, totally that is mindfulness in action because you're not judging, you are supporting your wife and all that you do, and that's one thing I love. I know that is something that you should tell Stephanie. Say, New say that you should have a
I'm going to
trophy.
show her the replay. I'm going to show her this clip. Yes, ma'am. Thank
But
you.
yes, and then I am normally I have the wellness Wednesday also, sometime with Michelin or different guests. But because of the storm with the recent in Texas that kind of take our power outage, so I've been kind of silo recently. But that is something every Friday I do have the mindfulness room, mindful mingle at 12 o'clock, and I'm on LinkedIn here, or they can reach out to me on the KN Health Consulting. But I have a lot in the pipeline, so stay tuned. Thank you all for joining us. Back to you, Mike.
And LinkedIn, that's the best place to find Dr. New because all her events are there on her profile. Um, and we're doing the Healthy Wealthy Hounds. I'm coming
Yes.
in. We're gonna do a conglomerate. So anybody out there that wants to plug in, be a participant, you might want to, you know, chime in. Don't be shy. Dadgummit, this judgment free zone. So, John, your turn, brother. What do you have coming up? Any events coming up, and where can folks find you and plug in?
All right. Well, I don't have any events coming up at the moment, but I am working on some stuff that'll come out this fall. A VIP workshop that I'm working on about building a toolbox to fight cancer, and everything is an action and or mindset for you to uh, have as you're going through an illness, cancer, or you can even use it as you're dealing with anything in your life. So it's a toolbox that you can kind of take and use throughout the rest of your life to overcome obstacles if something kind of comes up, how to deal with it. It's tools and techniques that I think will be very helpful. I'm on LinkedIn. I usually post a couple of times a week with some sort of theme or idea, or some sort of pain point that if you're dealing with something, or someone in your life who's dealing with cancer, I'm here. My website, there's a link to my website on my LinkedIn page, and you can sign up for a free 30-minute consultation. Also on my LinkedIn page is a free resource guide that I've put together that gives all kinds of tools and hints and books and forms that you can kind of use to monitor your things. It's completely free. Download it, use it to as you want, share it with anybody. It really is kind of a gift that I'm sharing with the community as a whole.
Yeah. Wow. I'm blown away. And by the way, I just realized that the comments are not coming in. There's major glitches going across LinkedIn. So I do see you guys. I'm looking around. We're on multiple channels and platforms and accounts. But I do see you, Tanil. She is a brand new hound. Thank you so much for being here. We saw Sarah. We do see Sarah. She is super excited. Russ Hedge. Oh wow, y'all got to check out his shows. He's unbelievable. And Laurel, is it Laurel? Youngstrom. So she's here, but we can't see the dadgum comments. Amazing people, very newer hounds, people who are about to be hounds. Thank you so much. Plug in, no stranger danger here. All right. So love this panel. I know we scratched the surface. We'll have to have a part two. And we didn't talk about any financial things. So guys, hit my profile. I'm going to do one here soon for the hounds. I might open it up to friends of the hounds. I don't do these often. People don't even know I'm in finance anymore. I'm a fiduciary. I'm a coach, but I am going to open one up to help people because it's a big deal, right? And so, but I wanted to emphasize our guests. These are amazing people that are pioneering this movement to really tie in all these things: mental health, physical health. I mean, we're dealing with cancer, all kinds of things. And you know, when I feel better and happier, my business goes up. When I dread waking up and getting out of bed and I'm unhealthy, business goes down. It's simple as that. So let me ask the last question, guys, and then we will let you guys go, unfortunately. All right. Share either experience or a practice, right? Something that can help improve your mindset and create that harmony, better harmony in life. What are some practical tips that people can use when they're stressed out and don't have the time to eat or to whatever, and they're just on that hamster wheel? What are some things, Dr. New? We'll start with you.
Lovely questions. I think it's so easy. People kind of forget about the deep breathing, right? When when we just even when you're eating, when you're taking a walk, or cooking, doing laundry, whatever it is that you're doing, just kind of notice how you're deep breathing in, and just whatever thoughts go in at the end of the night, or if you're on a phone, whatever it is, journal, put it down, your thoughts, and see when you really are intention of being mindful. Watch when you're either eating slowly, avoid distraction, not being on in front of the television or the phone while eating. You're going to see that not only your health, but also your small habits that you change. You can improve your digestion. You can improve not only how much you enjoy the food and the quality, just having a gratitude, whether it's beginning or the end of the day, whichever one, but be consistent. Having a gratitude, the blessings around you, and give thanks. You're going to see when you set intentions and having a gratitude, your life will change. And that to me is something that can change and can transform lives.
Oh my goodness, you helped me learn that. You said, Mike, you can't be grateful and grumpy at the same time. I said, you know what? You're right. And it's the antidote. It's like getting bit by a snake and then putting the antidote in, right? Same
Yeah.
thing. It's not bull stuff. I thought it was. It's not, guys. It's a choice, right? I can either focus on the positive and the solution, or I could just wallow in my own pity. It's pretty simple. So, John, what is it? What are some practical exercises or practices that can help people improve their mindset and create more harmony?
Well, and thanks again for having me, Mike. I really do appreciate it. I think first and foremost, it's like Dr. New said, it's finding that time for mindfulness each day. Just take 5 minutes, whatever it is, out of your day, and set your intention, your mental intention for the day. What is it you want? How do you want your day to go? Right? It may not go that way, but if you're in the mindset that I can do this or I'm going to accomplish this, if something comes up, you can address it and be proactive and kind of tamp it down before it blows up. One of the things that I always tell people to do is go out and ground yourself, right? Go
Right.
outside, take your shoes and socks off, and walk around in the grass for 5 or 10 minutes. Let your feet feel the earth. Let your eat your feel the ground. Just kind of feel the coolness. Well, it's hot out, but just kind of feel the earth under your feet and be thankful for what that is. Right? Be thankful for what God has given us in terms of the outdoors and what God has given you in your life. Right? It's the gratitude that Dr. New was also talking about. And lastly, I would say, embrace your victories, right? Celebrate your victories, right? It's not selfish to say, I've accomplished something, right? It's about self care. It's about, it's not selfish to say, I did this or I did that. You're not tooting your own horn. You're celebrating, you've accomplished something. You've won, you're victorious, right? You've done something positive. Celebrate the positivity in that. And some people also do mantras or mindsets or affirmations. If you have an affirmation or a mantra that you do, practice it. Say it as often as you can. I know some people who put them up in the bathroom, right? They read the post-its. Today I'm going to have a great day. I am a wonderful person. I am stronger than I thought I was, right? And the more you say it, the more the sooner it gets in your brain, and then it becomes automatic. So you don't need, you have the strength, you have the mental capabilities to overcome anything.
It, amazing. Both you all said thank you for the day. Thank you, Michelina. She had to leave earlier. This was a great. I feel like we scratched the surface. I want to encourage everyone to plug into these events, right? Get more involved. Just check them out. You don't have to do anything. Just be there, be around it, learn, right? Sit on the sidelines if you want to. Uh, but focus on your self-worth. Focus on what makes you happy. Because there's so many. Oh my gosh, I could sit here and rattle off a million things that I do wrong, or that wasn't good, or blah blah blah. But we got to counter that. We got to temper that with, hey, I am a good dad. I do my best. I make hard decisions. There's no win sometimes in these decisions. Sometimes you gotta choose between two crappy decisions, right? So we got to give ourselves grace. And as Dr. New and you said, John, we've got to give ourselves compassion that we would give others, that we do give others, and we don't give it to our dadgum selves. And we should listen to ourselves more than we listen to the opinions of others. Easier said than done, but I am getting there after 40 years because of the support I get from you guys, because of the coaching, because of all these things that I'm soaking up. Because hey, when the when the student's ready, the teacher will come. And you guys entered my life for those reasons, and that's what this is about. So, unless anybody's got any last quick parting words, I think we're going to wrap it up. Anybody got any last little thing? Any inspiration just hit you?
Well, if you don't see how much, not only if those who last year who were in the presence of each and every one, you will see our transformation, right? You see Mike transformation. That is something that we all, something I want to challenge everyone is have reflection. Have a moment of reflection. How do I want to show up better? How can I be better so I can take care of not only my family, my kids, my dog, the house, my neighborhood, whatever it is, and break them to small, and you will see the blessing in around, and your heart will be full. And at night, just imagine all the blessings, give gratitude, prayers, and send love and kindness. I guarantee you, your life will change. And you see, Mike is like he's so happy, Debbie, and he's sincere. Like it's something that we gotta probably tape and not be so smiley. But it's not sound so corny, but it is true. When you're filled with love and kindness, your world change, and there's nothing you can't
Yes.
do. Surround yourself with community that support and uplift you, and sincerely love and care for you, not just what's in their pocket. And that's what the Hounds of Business is here for. And so I love
Yeah.
you. I appreciate you all.
Hey, honestly, life hasn't gotten easier, it's gotten harder, but we're still smiling, doctor, like you just said. And it's because we know how to cope. We're not alone. We have skills, tools, people, and that's what makes the difference. No, actually, life's getting harder for me. But you know what? Hey, here's the hope out there. Forget hope. Here's the certainty out there. You can grow resilience, and you can learn, and you can pivot, and you can beat cancer. You can beat mental tapes going off in your head, baggage, all of that stuff. So, hey, get unstuck, fight forward. If you don't have a pack, hey, welcome home. And we're going to catch you on the next week. Next week, guys, don't miss next week. All right, some of our best military, giving back to other military families. This is going to be stellar. Chase and Forehand, thank you for making this introduction to some of just amazing people who paid ultimate sacrifice. And after their service, guess what they do? They're out there sacrificing more to help others that sacrifice for our country and our freedom. So that's going to be a stellar. Hey, invite folks, spread the word on this. Has nothing to do with me or the Hounds. It has everything to do with honoring military veterans who are doing amazing things. All right. So I'm super excited, and first responders. And as a former firefighter, it's dear to my heart. So thank you all for the support. Thank you all on the panel today. Thank you, Sindal. Say, I'm gonna embarrass her. Sindal, get her done because she is a monster, man. That lady, she is so driven. Appreciate her support. And everybody, hey, thank you. Love you guys. We'll see you next Wednesday. Same bat time, same bat channel. Go roll that
Thank you
outro,
all.
please.
Thanks, Mike. For
Thank y'all for stopping by. Be sure to follow, share, and like, and send me a message if you had fun today. Y'all come back now.